Hello guys, James here. Hope you're having a good day. Still trying to wrestle with this cough over here. Um, I'm gonna play a video about four different commentators, and it's covering what this guy said on his country music singer. And after I'm play the video, come back, and then I'll make my commentary. The first person that I'm gonna start with this lady. Her name is Lady Boulay. What she said. Oh shit. Oh shit. Sorry about. Oh boy.
Do you know the main reason why most traders lose money on the markets? It's because they rely on a discretion. For international capital, it's important to know what the latest Chinese policy was.
I don't want that. Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I'm talking about Chinese. I think I'm gonna have to come back and do a video on that one. But yeah, it's this guy. This singer, and it was something. And different people chimed in on it and there was some supporters. Some were white, and then there was a couple people were black. They're saying, because, and well, the song, I understand the anger when it comes to people criminalizing and people thinking that they can just run the law, run amok if they feel like they be in rebellion. And and the man has a right to make a speech. I mean, to have to make a song. However, music is a powerful thing, and music, just like rap music, it can influence a generation of people, and some people will act out what they do. Whether it's a rock song, a rap song, a country song. It makes you feel you be enjoying the lyrics, but slowly you be saying to yourself, okay, let's go back to it. Here it is.
And I hope you're having a marvelous day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. This is country music superstar Jason Aldean, and his hit record, Try That in a Small Town, has gone viral. The video is very graphic, and he sings about things that are going on in America that he doesn't like. Black people carjacking, robbing a liquor store, a white woman spitting in a cop's face, the rioting, the burning, something like what we saw when George Floyd was killed, and also in Ferguson when Mike Brown was killed. The flag burning, he doesn't like that. He does not like that, and he said, you better not try that in a small town. Somebody said more correctly, in a sundown town. And to make it clear who he was talking to, he filmed that video at a lynching site in Tennessee. So he's challenging black people. You try that rioting in a small town. Try spitting in the police's face in a small town. Try throwing a bottle at the police, rioting, robbing a liquor store. Try that in a small town and see where you end up. At a lynching site, hanging from a tree, evidently. So that's his message. So the question is Black America ready for a return to the past? In the past, the terrorists were white people like the Ku Klux Klan. They were the ones lynching and beating and killing and burning and doing all other things that they wanted to do. Black people were the victims, but now black Americans, especially black American men, are seen as the terrorists. Most of the people that he showed in that video were black people doing things that were provocative, especially challenging the police. Jason Aldean is a known conservative a Trump supporter, a Christian that just got divorced and remarried. So that's what being a Christian is for them. But he is a right-winger, and he has not made a secret of that. So he's saying he wants to return to America like it was, return to the past. And a return to the past means white people doing these terroristic things that they see black people doing, or they perceive black people as doing. Are we ready for a return to the past? So politically, America goes from left of center to right of center. So now we're at right of center, meaning that the country leans right. And when that happens, you get people like President Reagan, then you get a Bush, and then you get a Clinton, and another Bush, and an Obama, and then you get a Trump. So it goes back and forth like that. So now we're in a place where Joe Biden is really a conservative. He's just a Democrat, and he got caught up in the Democratic Party. It was too late for him to change. But he's really a conservative. And so now the conservatives feel like they have the high ground because they turn woke into something that means anti-American. Then they turn anything that anybody does that they don't like into critical race theory. They call it critical race theory. And that's to keep from teaching American history and acknowledging what was done to black people in the past. So that's what all of this critical race theory, every time you look around, is about. And also woke. This is where woke went to die. This is what Ron DeSantis had on his campaign. When he won the Republican primary for governor of Florida, this was his campaign slogan: Florida is the state where woke goes to die. And so that means any talk about race, anything about reparations, anything about unfairness to black people, oh, it comes to die there. Anything that they don't like, abortion, LGBTQ rights, oh, they come to die in Florida. So that's his big thing now. So this is a return. This is these people's way of trying to turn back time, to turn things back to the past. And is Black America ready for a return to the past? Well, I say it's not. I'm not ready for a return to the past. And I don't think anybody else is either. The question is, how do we counter this? People keep saying we don't have anything to leverage. Well, Dr. Martin Luther King said in the 1960s we did have something to leverage. The question is, do we have the courage to do it? And this is one of the things that I found extremely insidious that this woman had on her shirt. Look at this. There's Ron DeSantis, I believe, standing in front of her, and she has on her coat, I guess that's his wife. I think somebody said that was his wife. Well, woke goes to die. And there's a picture of an alligator that harkens back to the days when black babies were fed to alligators as alligator bait, so they could kill the alligator for their skin to buy shoes and pocketbooks and coats and whatever they were making out of the alligator skin. This is what she decided to put on the back of her jacket. I don't know if they think they're being cute or smart, but this is a sign of people who are not emotionally stable. If they're afraid, they're too scared. If they don't know any better, then they're too ignorant. So there's a problem with this. But this is all baiting black people. We're going to show you we're going back to the past. Well, I think you can't fight ignorance with ignorance. You know what we say here: if you argue with an idiot, the idiot wins. So you can't argue with the idiot, but you do have to make a statement of your own. So Jason Aldean, Ron DeSantis, and whoever this person is are trying to send a message. They're trying to send a message that we want things back like they used to be. We want to go back to the past. Well, why didn't he say try that in Compton? Because Compton is America. Why didn't he say try that in New York City or Chicago? He said try it in a small town. Well, most people are not even interested in going to a small town to do anything, because these things that these people are rioting about don't happen in a small town. But if something happens in a small town, I guarantee you're going to have a crowd there. I guarantee you that. And it's not going to be anything that anybody can do about it, because Americans have a right to protest. But he received a big backlash from this, probably unexpected. But he received a big backlash, including the country music television removing this video. So they won't even play the video. And his ex-wife or wife, one of his wives, made some kind of a transphobic remark, and so now his PR firm has dropped him. So that's being woke. So that's what he's singing about. He's talking about woke, but that's what woke is. That's what woke will do for you. It'll get you fired. It'll take your career down. So that's what woke did for him. He's gonna have to find somebody to sponsor him, because we know what happens when people start dropping you, Kanye West. We used to hear Kanye West every time you look around. It was Kanye West said this and Kanye West did that and Kanye West. Now you rarely hear from him anymore. You don't hear about Kanye West now, because that's what happens when the people who control woke pull the rug out from under you. And maybe it was karma, but Jason Aldean had run off stage while he was performing a concert in Connecticut a few weeks ago because of heat exhaustion. So I guess that's what woke did for him too. If a black woman made a record in which she was bringing some kind of heat like that or some kind of smoke like that to black men, they would have something out in a second talking about that bitches and hoes and all of that. Or if a black man made a record, these rappers would be out talking about busting a cap in a nigga. But you see, you don't hear anything when these people do something like that. This would be a really good chance for somebody to go viral with the record they made, right? What do y'all think about that? So anyway, I think that these people who think they're going to take America all the way back to the past, I think they're going to be surprised, because I don't think anybody's ready to go back to the past. I don't think anybody's going back. So they can do what they do, but they had their chance in the past, and it's over now. So it's a new day. And it's going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep moving forward. And I'm going to add this, as he said, try that in a small town. I was brought up in a small town, and the Ku Klux Klan used to ride in that town on Friday nights and Saturday nights when something happened, when they got mad about something. And black people used to be scared, and everybody would run and get up under the bed. The children would get under the bed, and the parents would cut out all the lights and just stand there, waiting for them, hoping and praying that they didn't come and break into their house and drag somebody out and beat them or kill them or whatever they planned to do. But one time when I was a kid, the annual fair came to town, and the fair really depended upon revenue from people coming, and black people could generate a lot of revenue with something like a fair. So they had the fair, and something happened. One of the men at the fair was operating one of those booths, hit a black kid in the head because the kid picked up the gun without paying. He beat that kid in the head, and black people got mad and would go back to the fair. This happened on a Wednesday night. Then on a Thursday night, black people wouldn't go. Then on a Friday night, they didn't go. So on a Saturday, the white people had told to get the word back to the black people that if they didn't come back to the fair, they were going to come and make them come back. The black people would hang out in a little cafe that wasn't even far from the fairgrounds.
You see how arrogant these people were?
Sure enough, they came to the cafe, and they came in and they put their billy clubs and all that thing, with their sheets on and their hoods on, and they were going to make those black people go back to the fair. And those black men started fighting them and beating. They were snatching hoods off and slinging them around and beating. Black men can fight when they want to. And because it wasn't far from where we were, and my mother let us, we stood out there in the road and watched them. They got in those cars and they ran away from that. They sped away from that cafe. And then when they got the black preacher talking about come up there and talk to the black people because they thought because they were going to start a race riot. Well, they started it, but the black people ended it for them, and they never rode in that town again. And that is documented. This is true. So I just say, if they want that fight, let them. It won't turn out like they think it's gonna turn out. It never turns out like they think it's gonna turn out. Making a song like that. Wow. I'm gonna put a copy of that video in the description box. But if I forget, remind me, because I think you'll find it interesting. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video. Thank you for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up.
Hey, Mom. There's an insurance mascot under my bed.
Don't worry, honey. We have NJM. They have an auto claims experience certified by JD Power, so they don't need gimmicks.
What's a gimmick?
Me, apparently.
gentlemen, it was just reported that Jason Aldean was in concert and he had a heat stroke and ended up running off the stage. Now, I do have the video clip, but I had to mute the music on there because it is mainstream music, and you can clearly see him singing, and then he abruptly turns and runs off the stage. So he was mid-performance when this occurred, and there is even some news reports saying that he retreated after he coughed over the mic and said he could barely sing another lyric.
Wow.
He just turned and ran off the stage. So his concert, of course, is going to be rescheduled for another time. And, I was going to talk about him, but I am going to have a current event this coming Friday, and we'll definitely talk about him and his song that he came out with. Some people call it a lynching song. I call it a sundown town song. But I guess we all have our names for what that song is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the video clip, and I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary. Jason Aldean suffers heat stroke in Hartford, runs off stage mid-performance. Jason Aldean's concert came to an abrupt end after the singer showed obvious distress on stage Saturday night in Connecticut. While performing at the Xfinity Theater in Hartford, Aldean struggled to get through his song, Crazy Town. In the middle of his performance, he retreated from the microphone to cough. Trying to power through, Aldean could barely sing another line of his song before he ran off stage. The country star did not return. This morning, the concert venue tweeted out a statement regarding the incident. Yesterday's Jason Aldean show will be rescheduled for a future date. We appreciate your patience as we work on rescheduling a new date, as well as the outpouring of well wishes for Jason. A rep has confirmed he is now doing well after experiencing heat stroke during last night's performance. A representative for Aldean confirmed the news to Fox News Digital. Prior to his performance, Aldean's wife Brittany shared on Instagram that she would be joining her husband on his Highway Desperado tour next weekend, along with their children. He is scheduled to play 2 shows in Ohio next Thursday and Friday. Jason Aldean left the stage mid-song while performing in Connecticut on July 15th. The comments section was flooded with regard for Aldean, with fans extending their well wishes. Hoping Jason is okay, we were at the show in Hartford, sending love and prayers, one user wrote. Is he okay at the Hartford show? That was scary, another commented. A flood warning was in effect last night in the area while Aldean was performing, with temperatures in the mid-80s. Aldean is still slated to perform tonight in Saratoga Springs, New York. Okay, y'all, you know what I find strange? Speaking of his song, I read there was a shooting at one of his concerts and about 50 people were killed. And, so that's not violent, but somebody come into your small town and, don't you try that here? I just find that strange. He never made reference about the shooting at his concert. People died. So, I guess he just glossed over that, and it's all these other things. The song is filled with all kinds of stereotypes. And to be honest with you, with that robbing a liquor store, I haven't heard about no one within our community robbing a liquor store for years. Okay? And not for many years. But look at the timing of this, y'all. Just look at the timing. And it is hot. I don't know. It is awfully hot to be up on the stage having a concert. Looked like, there was not good timing on this, but you know how it is. They sell these tickets in advance. I guess they don't know what it's going to be like when the final concert will come, but apparently it was to the point where he could not handle it and he ran off the stage. That happens to people every year in this country. Folks have heat strokes. In fact, so do animals. Your pets can have them too. If the temperature is really hot enough out there, they can have them too. But
if I lost it all and I had to start from scratch, here's what I'd do to get back to 6 figures a year in 4 steps. So step 1, I'd go on Amazon.
But there's many that will call this karma. You can best believe that. But y'all, you're going to have to tell me what you think about this whole thing. I mean, it's like days after all the controversy that came after that video was released of his new song, and now this, just days later.
I'm going to tell you why after these videos.
This guy should just stay off the stage. People getting killed, and now this. Maybe that's a sign you need to just get off of the stage. But then again, I don't have no say over this man's career and don't want any say over it either. But y'all, please tell me what you think. What do you think about the timing of this from when his record was released? But you know what? I watched a lot of videos this week on people that spoke about it, and tell you what, people within our community did an excellent job in presenting that. For real. I really did enjoy all of the videos that I saw. But please tell me what you think.
Jason Aldean. The lyrics. Try that in a small town. Glorifying the good old boy lynchings. What you are observing here is Jason fleeing the mass killing in Las Vegas in 2017, where 58 people were murdered and at least 500 were injured. Such is the violent nature of the United States of America. It was violent from its very inception. Good afternoon, this is T. West, and welcome to AfroCentury News. In the video performing the song, Try That in a Small Town, Aldean, who has been awarded Country Music Artist of the Decade by the Academy of Country Music, performs in front of the Moray County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee. Now, this is important. Where he's performing at is very important. Why? Because it is the site of the 1946 Columbia race riots and the 1927 mob lynching of an 18-year-old black teenager named Henry Choate. Now, let's deal with the lyrics in his song. Let's talk about that for a moment. The song lyrics go as follows. Sucker punch someone on a sidewalk. Carjack an old lady at a red light. Pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool? Well, act a fool if you like. Now, these are terrible things to do. You don't do things like this. You do not support people who do such things. Now, that happens not only in the cities, but it happens in the country as well. Now, it happens more prevalently in the cities. There are more people there. There are different socioeconomic situations there. But still, there is no excuse for this type of adverse behavior. So the song goes on, the lyrics of the song goes on to say, cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag, and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Well, you shouldn't be spitting in a cop's face.
No.
Now, you can burn the American flag. You have the right to do that. And you should not be beaten up because you do that. The song, the lyrics, well, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Now, once again, the venue, the location of where he's doing this video at, where he's singing this song at, it has a history. Yes, a history. The lyrics, got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in the city. Good luck. Round up. Well, round up is reminiscent of rounding up blacks to hang them, to lynch them. So, Jason is totally out of bounds with this song. Not only the lyrics, but where he's performing this at. Totally out of bounds. The lyrics, got a gun that my granddad gave me. Well, that is a indication of violence. That is an indication of vigilante. Now to Jason I say, remember 2017. Remember when you were performing on that stage. Remember what that white man did in the murder of 58 people. So he goes on and sings with the lyrics, try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Again, where is he performing this at? What is that venue? What is the history of that venue? History of lynching blacks, of race riot there in Tennessee, Columbia, Tennessee. The lyrics, full of good old boys. What's so good about lynchers? Raised up right. What's true about being raised up right when you are out to lynch blacks, when you are a racist, when you are out to harm blacks simply because they're black? That is still the nature of some small towns. But it is not just small towns where this mentality exists. It exists in big cities also, among some people. The lyrics, if you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. The lyrics of Jason. Now. Jason can say what he said in his song. He has a right to say what he said and sing in his song. But people also have a right to object to buying his music. Object to listening to his music. In other words, they can boycott his music. They have that right to do that. Just as he has the right to sing those lyrics. Now, I am curious about the small town where he grew up. I was curious about it. And about the demographics of the small town where Jason Aldean grew up. Was it basically all white? If not, what is the socioeconomic comparison of whites versus blacks in that small town? Does the town have a past history of lynching? Well, doing a little bit of research on Jason, he was born in Macon, Georgia, which today is 54% black. Macon has a history of lynching blacks. Yes. And one of the lynchings was related to a white woman. It appears that Jason may have grown up in Nashville, Tennessee, which is 55% white and 26% black. Still, that 26% is higher than the national average for blacks. It does not appear that Jason grew up in a small town, but he's singing about small town people and what small town people will do under certain situations. Yeah. Perhaps the real power of the backlash against Jason Aldean is not related to black versus white, but really it's about LGBTQ, based on what his wife said about the transsexualizing of children, which has been transsexualized into more and more of black liberation. However, it is very, very difficult to measure what benefits that has brought to blacks in America. This is T. West with Afro Synergy News.
Amid global market volatility, stock market losses, and rising inflation have left investors.
This is a triple P that I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not see coming, but I figure why not miss an opportunity, and I know y'all are going to love the hell out of this one. But I have to give a shout out first to Harvey over at Your World, because if it wasn't for him doing videos on this individual, I would not have known who this dude was. But this is Jason Aldean. Now you probably can't see that it is him because he's holding his face in a way to try to wipe himself, because apparently this dude was given a concert in which he suffered a heat stroke and had to run off the stage, and causing his show to be postponed. Now, to give you a little context of why this is a triple P, is because he came out with this song called Try That in a Small Town. And basically, he was highlighting sundown towns. Now, if y'all know on my channel, I did a whole 2.5-year long series on my channel called the Sundown Series, and basically he was praising sundown towns in that song. And when you think about it, that was basically disrespect, or a diss track, if you want to call it that, towards black people, because let's be real here, black people were the only ones who felt the effects of what a sundown town is. I'm not going to go into the definition of what a sundown town is. Many of y'all should already know that by now. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to read this article coming from the Miami Herald that was posted July 21st, 2023. Country star Jason Aldean's concert in Connecticut was abruptly cut short after the Big Green Tractor singer showed signs of a heat stroke and rushed off stage, the venue reported. During his performance of Crazy Town at the Xfinity Theater in Hartford, Aldean was struggling to get through the song before halting the performance and dashing off the stage on the evening of July 15th. Now here's the thing. I read somewhere that this song was actually, I think they just released the song on the 14th. How ironic, the 15th he suffers this heat stroke. Again, the song is about promoting and bigging up sundown towns, and ironically it's the damn sun that damn near took him out. The rest of the concert was canceled, and the venue tweeted about it the following morning. Yesterday, Jason Aldean's show will be rescheduled for a future date. We appreciate your patience as we work on rescheduling a new date, as well as the outpouring of well wishes for Jason. On July 16 tweet said a rep has confirmed he is now doing well after experiencing heat stroke during the last night's performance. One fan called Aldean's departure and posted a video on Twitter sympathizing with the country star regarding the heat. It was bad enough just standing in the pit, the fan said in a tweet. I can't imagine performing in jeans, boots, and hat under all those lights in that humidity with no breeze. Hope he's okay. Now here's the thing, this guy's from the South, where the heat is very unbearable down there. He couldn't stand the heat all the way up in Hartford, Connecticut. Granted, the heat could travel up there, but I don't think it was that hot up there because I saw somewhere where it said that the heat wasn't even that bad up there. So I don't know what it was, but that's besides the point. Even though hashtag Jason Aldean show was cut short tonight, he still put his all into the songs he did perform, which made the night worthwhile. The same fan said on Twitter, "An artist's health and well-being are so important, but is often overlooked. These guys aren't machines, they are humans too." Aldean released a video of him thanking those who checked in on him. He says, "I just wanted to let you know, thanks to everybody that's called in, checked in, and I'm doing fine. Just one of those things, I was hot and I was playing golf all day yesterday and then got to the show, and I think it was a combination of dehydration and heat." Well, that was probably not the best idea to go and play golf knowing you're on tour. Temperatures reached a high of 89 degrees in Hartford on Saturday, CBS News reported. When temperatures are extremely high, some people's bodies can have trouble regulating temperature. In some cases, people can experience heat exhaustion and have muscle cramps, nausea, weakness, and cold or clammy skin, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Well, I bet next time he'll do it in a more air-conditioned environment. If heat exhaustion persists for too long, it can lead to a heat stroke, the most serious form of a heat injury, according to the Mayo Clinic. People experiencing heat stroke can have hot, red, dry, or damp skin. They also can have a fast and strong pulse, and they can become confused. People should move indoors immediately and call 911 right away if they have symptoms. Aldean is currently on his Highway Desperado tour. Oh, too bad, so sad. But if y'all want to find out something even more interesting, because if you thought this was something, the follow-up is even more hilarious. Check this out. So, he went from having a heat stroke in one city to getting a washout in another city. It just seems to me climatic weather and nature are just not on Jason's side. Because according to this article from Cleveland.com, Jason Aldean's concert at the Blossom Music Center was a complete washout and they postponed it until late September. Listen, hey, like I said, this is divine intervention at work here. That's all I have to say. I feel absolutely nothing for him. I feel nothing for his fans who still defended him after the controversy behind that song and those lyrics that he put out there. As far as I'm concerned, it is what it is.
I'm going to take it from here. To people like Jason, it's nobody don't want to see no one get sick in a weather-related incident. However, don't you think it's people like yourself who think like yourself to leave people like that look like myself alone? Why is it? What is with that? I mean, I'm just saying. Do you see what's going on with the weather? And parts of down there, and where there was those sundown towns, what he mentioned, a lot of towns are destroyed by weather. There were towns there were black towns down there that people were lynched. And one was in the state of Georgia. And they put a lake over this black city. Strange thing about it is, there have been white people have died in that lake. I don't quite understand, and you want to go back to the past. Let me tell you something, Jason, and people like yourself. You don't want to go back to the past. The Most High is not going to let you go back to the past. See, what they fail to tell you, what is those descendants of those people you lynched, people that you said small downtown, some had no justification for them lynchings, and people got away with those. And if people got away with those lynchings, people look like yourself, Jason. But see, karma's coming back. People like Jason. As we suffer, you're going to suffer. Not by the hands of man, but by the conditions. Every time people like yourself come at us, you get the raw deal. You didn't listen to our black people when we say the 400 years is up. In 400, half of those 400 years, a lot of those descendants of slaves lost their lives and got picked on and bullied upon. You don't understand, it's over. I recall in a small town when the Klan rose up, right, in Stone Mountain, Georgia, a couple years ago. But when the militia showed up, where was the Klan? Where were people like you with your mindset, Jason? Where was you when you had to face a whole army of people heavily armed, just like those militias was in January 6th? Are you willing to be like the Russians and Ukrainians that's dying when the door comes to your step? Do you think that we're going back to the fear? That you're going to put black people in fear again? Do you really think that this is the last raw? But luckily, God won't let that happen. See, people like you in the generations, the weather's going to get you. And remember, some people, and normally the Most High use it, but some people call it the ancestors. See those ancestors that got injustice is getting adjust. And they're getting adjust through the wet. And the Most High is probably innocent. They cry through the weather storms. Or there's some other people have to suffer too. You just don't. No, you think that people like you gonna ride this history out? You think much bloodshed is in this land, innocent bloodshed that people that look like myself died for in towns burnt down, people were lynched, castrated. You think that is over? Oh, your generation now it's time for it to flip to your side, and people like you. See, it can see. Watch what you preach, Jason, because it can reach to the generation of your children. It's the message, and people who think like you. For the people who don't think like him, and who are white and others, this don't apply to you. It's the people that talk to him, and they think they're gonna bring back that good old boy, and that's how you're gonna die. And it's going straight to hell with that mindset. And I pray that those innocent people that you sing and you got, and most of your people get a joy of laughing, enjoying someone and making a sound, and people want to recall that in their country songs. I pray that the Most High show you the faces of those slaves, the descendants of them. And I hope they haunt you, and people like yourself, and that the torment. I hope those spirits visit your house. I hope that God let them visit people like your house. And I wish they just come and stand and just stare at you and scare the purity hell out of you. Because it's not a gun, it's not a knife, not a bomb, not a rope can lynch them no more. See, Jason, people like you don't understand. You're not going to get the last laugh. We're going to get the last laugh. Our 400 years is up. Now, the people who did reckless things to those innocent black towns and innocent black people and put the fear and terror, is going to reap what they sow. And it won't be by the hands of man. It's going to be hands of the cry out for the innocent ones who left this earth. And saying, when we going to get our justice for what they have done. The cruel things, those Klan members, and those ones that hide, and they still think it's a joke. It won't be a joke. Because next time, it won't be by the hands of man. It'll be by the hands of the element. See what you don't, and people like yourself, you keep coming at people that look like myself, and you're getting a bad raw deal. You know why you're getting a bad raw deal right now, Jason? Jason and people like yourself? How you kind of innuendo with your lyrics? And more people like you do? And if other people have tagged on along with it that come to America, and they're gonna reap. See, Jason, what you don't understand is those descendants of slave, part of the transatlantic slaves. Some of them were Hebrews, and you lynched the Hebrews, the descendants of the Hebrews. Look it up, and the people that let you look it up. It'd be the people that look like yourself, Jason. There've been white people that told you leave the black people alone, but you don't listen because you defy, and you arrogance, and you ride, and said it rise again. Oh, really? Wait till as you see what's going on with the weather. You see what's going on with the natural disasters. And if you look all up down on through the Gulf Coast, where them small towns from, they're being destroyed by the natural disasters. How you like that? Try that in a small downtown. Say that to the weather. Say that to elements. Say that. That's what my suggestion to you, people like you, Jason, and your fans who think like you. It's because, hey, wherever there's injustice, they say, yeah, we used to lynch them and everything. And they thought it was really funny until the element of opioids came. And Jason, you became a victim of someone that didn't look like the people that were fighting the cops. They came to concerts that looked like you. See, crazy don't have to come in a certain way. That's what make people like you so blind, because you're so ignorant. But you subconsciously, you that prejudice, and you sneak it in your lyrics. And there's more people in small towns like you, Jason, are dying of health diseases and everything, health scares and everything. While you wishing death on us, death is at your door. Destruction and Hades is at your door, and people that's in your small town community. The people, that man that shot didn't care. Why didn't someone say that to him? And you see what happened to some people that probably would have been at your concert on January 6th, right? When they went to the White House. Look what happened to them. See, Jason, people like you, the times are changing. And you're not going to change. You're not turning back. We're not going back. And you can tell your elders, we're not going back. We're not going back to that time. You'll be right in the pit of hell when your time is up on this earth. You're not going to heaven. Some of your elders ain't going to heaven because that resentment, that hatred towards us, and the murder that they covered up, the unjust beatings, lynchings. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. Yours, but it's not going to. Remember, it's not by the hands of man. It's by the hands of obscene. So for those who his fans that think that song was funny, it might pay. Keep thinking and saying that in the privacy of your own home. It might visit your doorstep. You better figure out who we are as the people. We won't have to lift a hand a gun to you. We have the answer. We have the Most High, and some of those ancestors are mad. See, and now they're getting a vengeance. Lake Lanier was one of them. When people like yourself, Jason, in that part of Georgia passed away. And there's other sundown towns. Vengeance will become. Your poverty will rise in sundown towns. Into cities too. And when your young people who can't take it no more, they turn to drugs and they overdose. Who you gonna try that in a small town? Well, Jason, it's already in your small town, and our hands is clear. Try that in a small town. But the people that look like you, that's bringing that stuff back, and pills and things that look like you. Is it time to stop blaming people that have similar features, demise, or descendants of slaves? Isn't it about time you people stop it? Isn't it about time? Accept a responsibility. When are you going to learn that every time you speak against and attack us innocently, you're going to be dealt with swift justice? There ain't no going back to ancient white America where everything go one way and go the other way. It's not going that way, people like Jason. It's time to wake up and realize what century you're in. We are at the last century. And if we go, you're going with us. If we leave this world, you're going too. You're not going to rule another 100 years. And you're not going to spread that rhetoric another 100 years. It would be put into history and left there in the museum. So that's not my people to him. That's not a threat. It's a fact. You can't get mad, but only about yourself. You better take that with the God that made every man and woman on this planet. If you want to take that up with him and pump up your southern pride in your flag waving small town. This won't apply to everybody, because not everybody in small town believe in that, but to the ones that do. You just don't know, and you haven't figured it out yet. Why the tables are turning on people that look like yourself? You just don't know. See, Jason, generations of your people have laughed and mocked, and it was injustice in this cry. And those ancient descendants of slaves, they never got the justice. Now they will. Now the elements have come after you because you released that song. Remember, and you stuck with pride and say, I'm standing with the song. Remember, Jason, you reap what you sow. Remember that. You reap what you sow. You reap it, it's coming back to you. Just like the person who will make a murderous rap song, they reap what they sow. It's only fair. You reaping what you sow. Think about it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. But this is the message. This is the message of people that would support him, who think it's right. You see how he's reaping what he sowed, and it got washed out. And even the people that is in country music, no, that's wrong. But you got some good old boys say, no, we stand behind it. But them good old boys is gonna pay the price too, who support it. They don't even know the tables have already flipped. See, we ain't the laughing stock no more. People like, no matter what the news say, even though some of us have made bad decisions, it's come back on people that look like them. I would seriously sit down and really analyze that, because what you put on one people, it come back on generation after generation. And a lot of young people in small towns being rebellious, trying to keep that up, or leaving this world equally across the board. Look at your opioid rates. Look at your health rates out there in small town America. When you come at us, when you come at the big city. And last time I seen, when you pump Brad, imagine when 300 and 400 black militias came down. Boy, that show you have bravery then. Be careful what you speak, because someone might answer the call. Just saying. What you put out, you get back in the universe. As some people call it, you get back in the universe. Think about it. And so, hey, he paid for it because his pride and arrogance and the bloodshed of that innocent person happened in Colombia, where that state house was. That could have been revenge on his behalf. Think about it. All right, then, guys. Till next time. Take care.